Good evening. Welcome to CJS Sports. I'm your host, James Hwang, and today we will get to talk with the Columbia Lions squash player, Arhan Chandra. Arhan, what do you study here at Columbia University?
I study financial economics and statistics.
So I had a chance to take a look at your bio, and it says you're from Texas, but I hear a bit of an accent, Where's your accent from?
Yeah, so I'm kind of from all over. I grew up in just the outskirts of London, born in Chicago, but left there when I was young. And I grew up most of my childhood in England.
When did squash become more than just a sport?
So I started it because my dad introduced me to it. And then I continued playing with my friends from school. And then I started playing some competitive tournaments locally. I started winning some of those, so then I started going to more national level tournaments and then international tournaments. And I would say after I took outside of local tournaments is when I started to take the sport more serious.
Some people think, all you do is just run around and hit the ball.
I mean, that's definitely how it may look on the outside. But there's so much that goes into it. Squash is like a game of chess when you're on the court. There's a lot of mental pressure that goes into it before the match, and when you're in the match, there's a lot of thinking about how you can beat your opponent, mental in terms of how much physical pressure you feel in the match. There's a lot of pressure in terms of physical, of course, and the matches could go up to 2 hours.
Is there any way you don't overthink it?
It's very easy to get caught up in it and overthink a lot. However, I try my best to stay in the moment and think of the point that I'm playing and the shot that I'm going to hit. I think I've definitely fallen victim to overthinking in the moment, but you have to just think about this point, the next point.
Was there ever a moment that you thought it might not work out?
I've had my fair share of injuries throughout my squash career, and coming back from those were quite difficult. And I did think a lot of the time that maybe it's time to call competitive.
Where were your injuries?
So when I was younger, when I was 15, I tore my meniscus and ACL. That one was a pretty bad injury. And then my freshman year of college, when I was at UVA, I broke my wrist.
Oh, so you transferred to Columbia?
Yeah, I did. I transferred after my freshman year. I decided to enter the transfer portal after the season, and that's when I transferred, yeah.
And then how would you compare the two schools?
I value both my time at UVA and definitely my time at Columbia. I'm extremely happy here now that I made the transition over. They're very different cultures. Columbia being in the city is a big difference, which is one that I value a lot.
What's been the hardest moment for you so far?
I had my first win in college and of the season my freshman year, and then broke my wrist one day after and was out. And also, maybe with the thought of transferring, obviously I needed to be out there competing to show other schools how good I am or how I'm playing. And that was definitely tough for me. It made it a little bit harder in my freshman year. However, I think it helped me progress my games in other ways.
What's it like being part of a newer program?
Columbia is definitely up and coming compared to a lot of the other schools, especially some of the Ivies. And honestly, I think that's what makes it special, because we get to build something new.
What separates you from everyone else on the team?
I play a very tight game and I can control the opponents, and I think also I have a strong mental game to where I can keep playing for a long period of time without breaking. I think I'll break after my opponents.
Was there a specific moment in your career that defines who you are today?
We had county championships throughout England, and this is when I was very young. I was 12, but the team championships I played that year with some of my friends, I got to play throughout the country, and we did very well as a team. We were able to win as a county nationally. And that really showed me what I could get out of the sport in terms of new friends and friendships and the competitive spirit from it.
But what drives you, though, every single day?
Yeah, I think a desire to win definitely drives me. I think from playing sports for a long time, I want to be the best at whatever I do. And it translates, obviously, of course, to squash, and probably where it stems from. But the desire to win is, I think, what drives me. And being the best version of myself is probably what drives me the most, because I would like to see what I could achieve if I put my mind to it. So,
If they can take one thing away, from your story, what would it be?
I would say embrace change, because change can help you in a lot more ways than people know. It's hard to change, and I've definitely had a lot of that throughout switching clubs, switching cities, switching countries, and so. But I've definitely gained something from every single place I went to, and always just look for the positives, and that's what my mom told me.
Who's been your biggest support system outside of the campus?
It has to be my dad, for sure. I think since day one, he's always been there for me. He has always supported me, whether I wanted it or not.
If you can go back in time and talk to yourself as say a 13-year-old to a freshman, what would you tell yourself?
Yeah, I would say just make sure you keep having fun. I think I would tell myself not to lose track of why I do the sport, and realize that there's always going to be another match. There's so many matches I've played, and one loss, even if it's maybe in the finals and it might be like 11-9 in the fifth, as close as it may be, there'll always be another one, and just trust the journey, trust the process, and enjoy it.
You've been in NYC for quite some time, and pizza is a big part of the culture. Do you indulge with the pizza culture?
I definitely do indulge with the pizza culture.
Okay. And which one would you rank number one, and why?
That's good. I'm honestly not a big fan of like traditional pizza as per se. I'm not a big fan of the Chicago style pizza when I was there. I'm not a big fan of like traditional New York slice pizza. I would say there's a place, Joe's Pizza, downtown. That is probably my favorite in the city.
Well, what about Cornet's?
Cornet's is a great place. I think that's one of my go-to spots. I appreciate how they stay up late and keep their shop open, because late night studying, coming back from late night practice, or just being awake after like poker games. So it's always there, and I do love Cornet's.
How good is your poker game and your poker face?
My friends, we take our games pretty seriously, and I love my friends, but I love taking their money as well. So
that's awesome. Yeah, who knows? I may join you one day. Yeah. Well, Arhan, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. It's been so much fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us to hear more about Arhan's journey on and off the court. For CJS Sports, I'm James Hwang. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube for more on the Columbia Lions.